Well, hello again. We are back to our pieces that I painted in the last video, this being where the glove compartment goes, or where it normally goes. These cars don't have glove compartments, and this goes over by the left knee of the driver. And the reason we're going back to these is I painted them. This is Wimbledon white, and I will be painting the top of the dash with phantom white. The dash has a vinyl surface, so I'll be painting it with this SEM phantom white. And there's going to be a shade difference in color. See the difference in the shade? This is slightly darker. So I don't want, right now, I don't want the top of the dash this color and the bottom of the dash this color. Kind of picky, I know, but that's the only color that I can find that even comes close to matching Wimbledon white, and you cannot get this in Wimbledon white. So, well, according to this can here, it says it's primarily for plastic or vinyl. Plastic, carpet. On the other can it says restore or change the color in most vinyl surfaces, flexible and rigid plastics, carpet, and velour. Well, that's interesting. Anyway, that's what we're going to do, and if it doesn't work, I mean, I didn't know if I could use this over the top of paint. So I contacted Nick Pepe out in Colorado, you know, Vintage Thunderbird Repair Channel owner. I said, Nick, can I use, he's the one that brought this SEM to my attention to begin with a few videos back on his channel. And he said, this is what you use for vinyl and plastic, stuff like that. So I contacted him. I said, you ever use this on top of paint before? Can I do that? And or do I, you know, will it not stick and I'm going to have to strip it all off? He said, no, I've used it. I said, okay, well, I'm going to take his word for it. However, I'm going to err on the side of caution, just in case it doesn't work for me like it possibly worked for him. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the smaller one on. You know, I don't want to have to, if I have to strip it, I don't want to strip this big giant one. I'd rather strip the small one, okay? So let me get it ready here. Now, I've had this can for a while, so the spray pattern may be screwed up. It's supposed to be a fan pattern, and if that's the case, then I'll have to break open a fresh can I bought here. This stuff, boy, I tell you what, this stuff used to run about 18 bucks. As soon as inflation was mentioned, they jacked the price up about 8 bucks a can overnight. Now, give me a break. Now, that's greed. That is absolute greed. And I told them no. I wound up going online and buying it through Amazon. Don't be afraid to say no if you think you're being screwed. Don't get in so hurry. Look around, you'll find it elsewhere. Now I'm just going to mist this on. Just mist it on. I'm not going to put it like a paint color. I mean a paint layer. I'm just going to mist it on until I get the right color. Let's try the bottom first. Yeah, see, I knew this was going to happen. Yep. You'll have to shake up the other one and use it. Alright, let's try this again. Yeah, it's got a better fan pattern now. Now we're getting some paint at it, or some whatever they call it. I don't even know if it's paint or what it is. But I'm just going to mist it on. Because I just want a color change is what I'm looking for. I think it's going to dry dull. So I also asked, I thought it would dry shiny, but apparently it's going to dry dull. So I asked Nick, can I put clear enamel, satin on this, you know, which will give it kind of a nice color, if you know, a nice appearance if needed. He said, I never tried that, John. He said, but go give it a shot, you know. He said, but don't blame me if there's a giant explosion and you're, you know, destroyed along with your car and everything. I said, well, okay, buddy. Alright, I'm happy with that. We now have a much better shade. It matches the top a little better, although you never get them to match perfectly. And this will now match the dash once I get it all done. I don't know why my camera doesn't want to focus. Boy, trying to get focused on white stuff with this camera, you're just wasting your time, but just bear with me on that. Anyway, now we're going to have the top and bottom match. It says wait 10 to 15 minutes between coats. It's been about a half an hour. So I've got some clear satin enamel. Just going to put a misty light coat on. I don't like I said, I don't want to paint it. I don't want these this textured surface to go away. We want to keep that, okay? So let's see what happens. I'm trying to protect it. The slightest nick, see, this is a plastic coating basically over the top of paint. And if you nick it and hit it in any way, it's going to peel it right off. So I'm kind of hoping this will protect it. This stuff here is noted for making paint peel up. I don't know why. I've had a lot of trouble with it. I've tried it way back. I've tried it close. It just doesn't want to cooperate all the time. Alright, that's good enough. Let's just let it dry and see what happens. Well, that is absolutely perfect. Exactly the way I wanted it. Look at, is that, it's got just the right shine to it. It's not dull, it's not really shiny, it's right in the middle, a nice satin. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Alright, well now we know that what I've got on this thing for your own edification. I hate to keep dragging it on, but some of you may want to do this in other cars. You don't have to do it just a 66 Thunderbird, you know. I stripped it on down to the metal and I put the enamel primer, Rust-Oleum, and it was white primer. Then I shot it over the top with acrylic Wimbledon white enamel, and then over the top of that with this SEM, which is sort of like a plastic coat. I really don't know what it's made of. And then over the top of that is satin clear enamel, and it all seems to have worked. So we'll set this over to the side and finish it up with the bigger one, and then we'll set them in the house overnight and let them harden up. Remember, paint does dry, but it's not hard. You got to wait for it to harden up. So let's get this baby in place, and we will get this baby going. Okay, now for what's in the box. I think I mentioned it in the last video, maybe not. A couple of videos back I told you about this sort of like a grill thing that sits in front of the battery. You can see the battery through there. Mine was all rusted out at the bottom. Just pieces just rotted all the way, probably from battery acid over the years. And I really wasn't sure what I was going to do about that. So I contacted our good subscriber and buddy Alvin Jameson up in Saskatchewan, Canada. He had 3 Thunderbirds. He tore one completely apart. He cut up the body. He cut up everything and he stripped it, and he just reduced it to just a pile of rubble because he needed a starter. And that was the easiest way for him to get that starter, if you'll remember. Anyway, that may not be exactly accurate, but you know. Anyway, I asked him, I said, do you have anything left over from that pile that you had? And, you know, I showed him, he saw my video, and I said, would you maybe have one of these? He said, yeah, I got one. I'm not going to use it. I said, are you sure? I don't want it unless you're going to use it. No, I am not going to use it. He fixed it all up. He did a video on doing it. He primed it and painted it and did all kinds of stuff. That is really a nice job there. He sent it to me. He wouldn't take any money, of course. So once again, we will be putting money in the Salvation Army bucket at Christmas time in his name. Everybody that sends me things who won't take the money, I figure out a way to donate money to somebody in their name. And every year at Christmas time, last year we had like 4 or 5 guys that I donated money to in their name who had sent me things, and then I sent them a video and show them that it was done. Of course, you'll all see that video this year. One guy contacted me. He said, John, you said you never take a handout, but you let Nick give you that dash. He paid $10 for it. I said, I knew somebody was going to catch that. I said, yeah, but you got to understand, at the end of the year, when Christmas came around, he paid $10 for the dash, but I donated $20 in his name to the Salvation Army bucket, and you know, I sent him a video showing that I had done so in his name, and that's the way I handle things. So don't worry about small stuff, guys. I always take care of those who send me things. Okay, it's very important that I do that. I have to sleep at night. I want a good conscience. Now, Alvin included a little note with the grill that he sent. He said, hello, John. I hope this works well for a patch on the 66. If I were closer, I would come over and weld it in for you. Regards, Alvin. Well, if you were closer,
Come on, Alvin. You're right here in Warman, Saskatchewan, Canada. I'm just right down here in Conway, Arkansas. You're practically on my doorstep as it is. There's only, what, 1,678 miles between us. Well, you could be down here, weld that thing in, and be back to your lovely wife Beverly in, what, a week's time? Peanuts!
So until next time, this is John.